How's it going, guys? Welcome to GD Noob. We are going to see today the implementation of a new animation that I have done to Godot. Okay, so we are going through code and try to see how is it working. If it's working, is not is working, we are going to see the result of this animation. First, we are going to see some advices that I get through the we can say the planning session of this animation, the setup session, and that I have learned. I can say that I'm learning each day, every day, because I consider myself a noob in animation, okay, and in using Spine, totally a noob, but I'm getting better each day because I'm practicing. And one of the main problems that I want to talk is this one. As you can see, I have like 3 software that I need to master, and the first one is Krita. This is the problem that solo game development has, right? That you has to, in some ways, to manage to be very good, or at least to try to be efficient in 3 softwares that you have chosen. And this takes a lot of time, because if you don't know how to use, this would double your time of learning and of the learning period, right? And when I use Krita, for example, the problem that I have is like I forget some things of a Spine, or maybe I'm 1 week with a Spine and then I forgot how to code with Godot, you know. So is that problematic? But it's true that you learn a lot, okay? And also one problem that I have this week is changing. Today, this weekend, I have tried with the Blender, because I was thinking that in this kind of video game that I'm trying to make, maybe it's better to be a 3D player and a 3D enemy. I don't know. So I was trying, but I think right now is more difficult. And I think it's the result of some procrastination, you know, that you don't want to do what you need to do. Because as you can see here, the process took me like 2 afternoons and the morning. Took me a lot to figure out the we can say the keyframes that I need. For example, this is the player in idle, and as you can see, when the enemy throws a 1, the player moves to the right, okay? And when the player throws a 2, we can say the player moves to the left and dodge to the left. So here you can see, let's turn this off so you can see. And wait a moment, I think we need to take this out. Okay. And here you can see this is like a right jab. The player is doing right jab and trying to make the keyframe to look good, okay? And for example, this is making a right jab, and this is making a left jab. And I'm trying, as you can see, trying to make a look good frame. So then what I do is just copy all the things that I can imagine that I will need, okay? Because there are some things that rotate, you know, and because it's a 2D object, you need to paint this kind of things. So this is the main thing, that you need to try to imagine what things will need to be rotate, what things need to be redrawn, and then you can export it to Spine. But as you can see, for example, if this is the idle pose, you can see that the gloves change position, right? So they need to, but in reality, it's less than you think. In reality, it's less than you think. So this is why you need to be try and error and try to find like the best solution. For example, I really not using that much of images that I drawn compared to other animation that I don't. And I realized that even the animation, the frame, the image that I drawn, I really didn't need it. Okay, it wasn't unnecessary to redraw. Okay, so this is the the player rigid, okay? And as you can see, I also copy some of this. The arm is copy in the left arm, so it's the same but copy. And this is the way to, let's say, to be a little bit more efficient, okay? So I was doing this morning just a rough animations. You can see here. Let's try to make this bigger a little bit. And for the idle animation, I do something like roughly, like some kind of thing that this is moving. Oh, obviously the head needs to move, the torso also needs to move. But yes, with this for me is enough to implement to Godot and see how is it going. Because I was more, let's say I was more worried about the changes. When it changed, when it launched the 1 and when it's launched the 2. You see? When it launched the 1 and when it launched the 2. So the things that we are going to do is we are going to implement this these animations to Godot, and when we click on some type of in the keyboard and the mouse, we are going to do this and see how it looks, because this is the important thing, okay? So yeah, I think it's ready to be exported. Let's see if I remember how to do it. If not, you can see a video that I made about how to export from Spine to Godot. So I'm going to do it. Okay, so now it's exported, and now we need to create a new resource called Spine Skeleton Data Resource, and we are going to save it here. And then we need to move the atlas here, and we need to put the JSON also here, okay? Then we are going to add a spine sprite, and in the spine sprite we are going to move the spine skeleton data resource. Let's see if it's working. Preview, let's put idle, okay, let's put 1 and let's put 2. Okay. So let's scale it, because as you can see, this is 1920 pixels for 1080 pixels. HD, we can see it, 60 by 9. So we need to scale a little bit to make it fit in the screen, and we are going to move it a little bit like here, okay? So now that we have the animations and we have everything seems to be working, we need to create a new attach, okay? We're going to let's call animation setup, for example, okay? Setup, okay. So first what we need to do is when we hit, let's save it. First what we need to do is when we hit the we need to call the nodes, okay? So first the things that we need to do is to call the nodes. So it's very simple. On ready bar, let's call something that is, let's call player, okay? Player spine. Let's put it that way, so we can know how to call it. It's very important. And then let's call it like that way, okay? And what we need to do now is to put the input. When we trigger, when we press a keyboard combination, we hit the 1 and we hit the 2. But first we need to say that when the let's say when the game starts, the function is idle. Okay, so the first code is we put player spine and we put get animation state. This will lead to set animation, okay? And then we have a string, a loop, and if you can see, pull through. So the name of the the animation is idle, loop we're going to put true, and the track we are going to put 0. Okay, so let's see if it's working. If we hit play, okay, so now we have the idle moving. How cool is that? It's very cool to see this in Godot. I'm flipping out. Let me see what is happening here with the mirror. I think it's because the black screen is smaller than the actual screen, right? Yeah, it's not a big problem. Okay, so and why this circle? I didn't saw it, but it's interesting. You see, this is the very fun thing about when you are doing things and are working that you see things that you didn't expect like this. Okay, so next step. Okay, so first we need to implement the input. We need to put input for the keys that we are going to do for the job. And what we are going to do is to first set the job key will be Q. So it will be Q, and the right will be, for example, mouse button right, and the left will be the left button, will be the left mouse button. Okay, and what we want when we press the Q, we only press once the mouse button, and then it will be left jab, and the same with the right jab, but the Q needs to be pressed. Okay, this is how it's planned. So in which method we are going to implement this? In unhandle input event. Okay, it's appropriate for yeah, when to put player input, because it doesn't propagate the nodes. Okay, so it, for example, if you are pausing the game and you use the Q, it won't do this. Okay, so this is why it's convenient to do. So first, remember, we put input if is action just press, no, if it's action press. Okay, and we put jab. So we have the Q press, and then we are going to put another if input is action just press. For example, let's put left. So we are going to print left jab. Okay, left jab. And then if elif, so we are going like a second option, or this one, is action press jab, or input is action just press right. Then we're going to print right jab, right jab. Okay, so this should be working. It's nothing. I forgot the if. Okay, so let's see if it's working or not. So we have here the animation. If we press Q, we have left jab, but not right jab. What is happening? We have the left jab is working, but not the right jab. Why? If action is just press jab and we just press right. Let's do it more clean, like if and elif. Let's put here elif, because here I think it's cleaner and it has more sense. Let's do it right now. So now if we press right and left, right, left, right, right, some problem is that, as you can see, when I press, sometimes it's press, I think, like more than one, right? Let's try it with the right. It's yeah, twice. So this won't be a problem because we will trigger once. Okay, we will trigger once. So now, how can we implement the animation? So very easy. We copy this, okay, and we are going to, at the moment, we are going to use it that way. Player span, get animation, set animation, and if I don't forget the name, let's see the name. Let's put Throno 1, Throno 2. So what is was Throno 1? This is why you need to be careful about I think Throno 1. Let me see how it was. This is why you need to be very sure. You see, this is very bad because here we have a space and here I don't have a space. I need to really change this and export, even export again. So if I don't forget, if I put here for the right and we put here and a space for 2, let's see if it now is working. Left jab, right jab, but nothing is working. Why? Player span animation set animation through 0. I think the names are very bad put, right? Because we have problems here. Let's see. Returns of but is never used. Okay. Throno 1 is together. Throno 1 is together. And Throno 2 is separate. No, Throno 1 is not together. And Throno 2 is separate. Okay, so I have a problem with the names. I need to change this in the animation. These are the things when you go fast, you make these kind of mistakes. I hope these mistakes that I'm making is useful for you for when you are doing. So, okay. You see, this is like we need to change and just do it once. But at the moment it's working. Let's change first. I don't want to be loop. I just want 1. And I want to change the. You see, this is the problem when you don't use when you don't name properly. You need to make like some kind of a statement, some kind of rules, and respect these rules, because if not, you will be very confused. For example, for me, this should be like right jab, left jab, but I'm calling 1 and 2 jab, so I make a mistake because of this. So you really need to be straightforward about naming the animation, because as you see, it will be problematic at the end. But because we can survive for today, we're going to continue, okay? So let's see this. And if I hit 1, if I hit 2, okay, that looks good. There is something that I consider the 1 moves here because I did it in the animation, right? I did it in an animation because it needs to move from here to here, you see? So that's a good question. I need to do something to solve this that is not important. It's easy. Just, for example, tell like when you are here, you are going to make another animation. Okay. So we can make 1 to 1 or some kind of combination. So it's not a big problem. This is something cool about Spine, that because the enemy is so big, okay, because the enemy is so big, the player needs to move to, let's say, have for the arm not to deform too much, you know, for the arm not to deform too much. So because of this, if I attack from here for the idle pose, the arm will be like a dazzling arm, you know, something like very elastic, too much. So I need to implement moving. But Spine really do a great job about moving. Doesn't look like that bad, you know. It's fast. Maybe the right hook is like the right jab is slow, I feel. So I need to make it like 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. I think this one is fast enough, but this one is not fast. So I need to change the speed, okay, of the right jab. But what we want, what I want is to also to make a signal. What we are going to do is, because now we have this, you can see, if I hit 1, if I hit 2, it works. But I don't want the player to be in this position. It needs to go back to idle position, okay? So how we do this? So for this, we use these signals. And this one is the appropriate one. We're going to use animation complete. So we connect this and we are going to copy this and I will explain to you. Let's erase it. Okay. So what we are going to say is like when the animation finish and the name is this one or 002 or 001, go back to idle animation, play idle animation, okay? So let's see how it works. I hit a 1 and it goes back to idle, as you can see. But what happened? Because it's so fast, I think we need to readjust the mix, right? Because as you can see, it's not natural, it's not fluid. And this is something that I need to try and fail. And I think it's enough for the recording. But in the next video, I will see how to make better transition, better mix to do this. Okay. Something that I advise you to do, like the last thing to see how many things you can do in code about this, is like you go to Spine Sprite and you open the documentation, okay, and then you can read all this documentation. But this is like a game. This is the way that I see it. It's like a game. If you click here, for example, or if you, for example, click in Get Animation State, you go to Spine Animation State, okay? And in a Spine Animation State, you are going to, okay, let me see, Get Animation State. If you go to Get Animation State, you go to Spine Animation State. And in here, you will have more options. And for example, if I move to Spine Track Entry, that is something that, or for example, Set Animation, that is something, a command that it's really handy because here we have the mix time and mix plan that I can use it. So the thing is, like, you are using like a tower, for example. Let's put plier spine. Okay, let's go to plier spine. Then we put get animation state, right? Then from get animation, I go here. I say, okay, so in get animation, what things I can do? I can put set animation. So I'll put set animation. Okay, and then I say, okay, in set animation, what things I can do? So I can, for example, go to get current track. Okay, so I put here and put get I cannot do it. Let me see. In Spine set animation, I go to here, and for example, I can go to get mix time. Okay, so I put get mix time. Okay, so this is the way you move to the argument for set animation. Okay, in set animation, I obviously need to put this. Okay, so this is the way that you move through code in a Spine, and it's very important you to check this. And it can take you. It took me, because I'm a noob, it took me a lot of time to figure out how to move from one documentation to another and how to use it. Okay, so for today, I think it has been enough. As you can see, I need to polish a lot of things, like how to go back, right? How to mix this to go back, but it also needs to be fast, but not that fast, because here it can be from here to here is okay, but from sono to idle, I need to, you see, I need to be like this fast. This fast is beautiful. It looks beautiful. It looks good to me. So this is what I need to implement. But I don't know, as you can see here, it's going like really fast. If I go here and then whoop, whoop. So I need to put like a mix time. Maybe I need to find another way to put a mix time, okay? So I hope this will have been handy for you. And then in the next video, we are going to get deeper into this and try to solve this problem. See you.